You know, the rule usually says that a quarter of the hour, everything in a group kind of gets quiet. So we're at that quarter hour. I'd like to call this meeting together tonight, July 15th at Town Council for a work session. We'll start with the council mayor related items. Number one, non-exclusive cable system franchise bid opening.
We did not receive any bids for the franchise, so I don't have anything to open at this point in time. We will move forward with the franchise agreements in some fashion here. We'll get back to council in the future.
Wow, GG.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a process that we had to do to get the RFP out on the street so that we can negotiate with Comcast as well as Chantel on the franchise agreements.
Thank you.
Be good.
Okay. Item number two, council discussion and goals.
I have something. So I'd like to get a public hearing or whatever we need to do to vote on the Crooked Run West issue. It's in our court right now.
Okay.
It is in our court?
Mm-hmm.
How so?
According to the Board of Supervisors, they had approved it. It went to planning, they denied it. But I guess there's no point of appealing or doing anything if you don't know if there's going to be water there or not.
Isn't there an appropriate channel for that to come back through us, like through our planning department or anything?
The way I read the code is that once they request it, it's our job at this point to determine how we want to proceed, if we want to annex it or move forward. But really, the way I read the code, the ball's in our court to make a decision at this point. Because technically, the way the code reads, they are supposed to apply for the water before they do any rezoning of any sort. That's the way I read it. I'll have to get Doug to look into it.
Can we get some clarification on that?
Yeah, have they applied for this?
Yeah, I've got the letter request back in April.
Okay.
And we talked about it in April, and then we never did anything else after it. But once I went back and looked at the code last week, we got an email from Natasha. The way I read it, the ball's in our court to make a decision at this point.
Okay.
How do you make a determination on what the county has approved for their rezoning if we get water? Is that what it is? If we give them water? Like, I guess what I'm trying to
The
figure out
request is, are we going to supply water?
period, or
Right.
before they approve what? That's what I'm trying to get to, like,
The change.
From commercial to residential.
with what they currently proposed.
What they currently propose with their letter of request, yes.
So that means we have to change our MOU and the whole 9 yards in order to correspond to give them water?
Yeah, I would assume, but the first thing is the council has to vote as a whole
Yeah,
if
right.
they want to proceed, and then after that, then there's a lot of things that will have to go into play.
Because we only agreed to 40,000 gallons of water, and that's only commercial.
And that was only commercial.
So we would have to bring it to a work session.
Oh, yeah, 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
We already had a work session. We had a work session about it in April. Yeah, we
I
did.
think we need to understand everything that goes into that, not just whether or not we're going to supply water or not. Like, I think you need to know.
Yeah, we went
That's
to
why I
the
thought they were
LM.
coming back to us. So the decision basically is we supply or do not supply.
Right, and in the code section 134, I think it states that there's a couple things that the council considers, your boundary adjustment or, and so that is all part of that code 134. What we can do is we can put this on the next work session.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of details that need to be worked out, and like, because I know we talked about it, but there's still like, I mean, I would like to know. I think Gene brought up kind of the limits, DEQ, the river. I'd like to know that. I'd like to know the total residential that's committed. We threw out numbers related to that. That's committed. What we'd forecast that we'd built within the town over the next decade. I know we bounced around a lot of different conversation points. I would just like the data that supports that. Because I'm definitely open to it, but if there are things that just make it logistically impossible for us to do, I completely understand that.
Okay.
I want to entertain that.
Is that going to give you enough time to get it to the next workshop?
Oh, yeah, sure will. A lot of this stuff's already put together, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I think we got most of it already on our iPad.
Yeah. we'll just, we'll refresh it and make sure there's nothing new to add to the package.
Sounds good. Next work session then.
Yep.
Joe, would you pass out in preparation for the August 15th work session on goals? This is a worksheet for you to get your thoughts together.
First thing I'd like to point out is that we do have our goal setting session planned for August 19th from 5 to 9. And then also there's the short-term goals that came out of the work session, but the one thing I wanted everybody to focus on was the second page, and it's called SMART goals. If you've never heard about them, but I think when we start to look at these goals, we need to be a little bit more specific, make sure they're measurable and attainable and time-based. Just give you a little bit to chew on as we move forward for the goal setting on August 19th, excuse me.
Okay. Enough said about that. I won't belabor that anymore. Town staff related items. We're going to remove item number 3.
Just one more question on the goals.
Okay.
Were we going to prioritize them, or is our hope that we're actually going to make it through?
Yeah, we're going to prioritize them.
Some of these might be like a 30-minute conversation.
Right, and some of them are so broad that we're going to have to we're going to have to drill down and figure out exactly what our directions are.
Okay.
Remember, my first statement was some are going to be short-term goals and some will be long-term. So like you said, we're going to drill down a little bit.
So we're going to categorize them what's in a short term that we're dealing with in the immediate future, like within the next year, and then.
Yep.
Okay. Sounds good.
Bill, why are we pulling 3?
I can't hear you.
Why are we pulling number 3?
Gene, we're not ready yet. We still have to accept the road. The thing is, we missed this year for funding for Leech Run Parkway. The deadline to get it in is February, so we have plenty of time, but we're still dealing with Branch on getting that project closed out, so we got a little ahead of ourselves.
Okay.
Okay, item number 4, budget amendment, accepting of bids for facade improvement program.
Mayor, so we put this on the agenda for information purposes. We're anticipating need to come in at a regular meeting later this month for a budget amendment in order to receive the funds for the facade program so they can be awarded out. We received the bids, however, but we're going to be rebidding it. We only received one bid and it was not competitive. The project management team decided to change some things based on the input from the contractors, and we're going to rebid it. We'll be back to you once we go through that rerun of the bidding process.
What does it mean that the bid wasn't competitive? It was just too high and there weren't any other bids that were...
It was, it was not competitive. It was, closest one was about 2% above the high estimate, and then it ranged from that to about almost 400% above high estimate. So it was way out of the ballpark.
How many people bid, or how many companies bid?
Just one.
Okay.
And we had a good showing in the pre-bid meeting, but a lot of them backed out because one, they didn't have the time, or a big issue was the asbestos and lead-based testing, which we're going to pay for through the grant fund to do that, so they won't have to worry about it, and we should get at least a couple more contractors in.
Thank you, Chairman. Well, this will be one of the shortest meetings on record. Any other items come before the council tonight? Before we go into closed session? Nobody? I'm sorry to do this to you, but we're going to go into closed session. Who would like to read the closed meeting motion?
I'll read it as soon as I find it.
All right. I move the town council convene and go into closed meeting for the disposition of publicly held real property, specifically the sale or vacation of town right-of-way to the applicant, Chris Holloway, to that portion of unimproved right-of-way on Carter Street adjoining new tax map number 20A 7-15-3, Lot 1A, containing 20,000 square feet, said part of Carter Street to be vacated, located along the western side of said Lot 1A, and measuring 136.05 feet in length and 40 feet in width, as shown on sheet 2 of 2 on that plant, titled on sheet 2 as boundary line adjustment between tax map 28 7-15-3, lots 1-6, and 40-foot wide unimproved portion of Carter Street, prepared by Brogan Land Surveying, PLC, dated 5/14/19, pursuant to Virginia Code Section 2.2-3711.A.3, where discussion in an open meeting would adversely affect the bargaining position or negotiating strategy of the town council.
Second.
Got a motion, you got a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Well, I appreciate y'all coming. It's your meeting.
Let-